Now, when you think of the most untrustworthy strangers that you meet on a daily basis, who are the first people that come to mind? A car salesman, insurance agent, realtors, financial advisors. Now, what's the one thing that all these people have in common? The fact that they're all trying to sell you something. Uh, it's very common among people to distrust salesmen of all types. And as a matter of fact, a company called Objective Management Group Incorporated actually looked into this. They took data from 500,000 people and they found that trust is a major issue among the customers. 80% of people distrust auto salesmen, nearly 50% distrust realtors, and over 50% distrust insurance sellers, according to their data. Now, in my opinion, I think that this distrust of salesmen is a bad thing. And I'd like to take this time in my speech to address a solution to this problem. Now, the reason why salespeople are often considered untrustworthy is because they're directly incentivized against the customer. This incentivization comes in the form of commissions, whereby they're paid based on how much of their product that they sell to the consumer. A commission creates a conflict of interest between the customer and the seller, because the seller is directly motivated to only get as many sales as possible in order to make their paycheck. To find out more about just how bad this commission system is, I interviewed a sales manager from DirecTV named Juan Martinez. According to his words, the hourly pay for a seller is low or non-existent, so sellers must do whatever it takes to make a sale. Some of the tactics that they use include tricking customers into not reading the fine print, luring customers with temporary prices, faking relationships, and making up personal details in order to get the consumer to sympathize with them more. Now, these tactics all stem from the desperation that a lot of them are doing in order to make the sale. Again, from Objective Management Group, a lot of customers have said that they don't like salespeople because they don't care about my needs, they often put me under high pressure, they pester me, they only care about making the sale, they're manipulative. Now, the thing that all of these traits have in common is that they're often the tactics that somebody uses when they're desperate. And as Mr. Martinez said earlier, these sellers are very desperate considering how much they're getting paid. The difference between one sale could be the difference between making your house or your car payment or even putting food on the table. Now, I think that this is a problem that should be addressed. Now, you might be wondering, why is this really a problem? Is it really that big of a deal that people don't trust the sellers? Actually, it is. And not just to the customers either. The negative stigma attached to being a salesman, just in society in general, also negatively affects the salesmen themselves. According to the Journal of Selling and Major Account Management, an article written by Vinita, Sangtani, and John Andy Wood in their study titled The Impact of Stigma, Negative Stereotypes of Salespeople, they found that sellers are actually aware of their lowly position in society, and that because of this, they tend to react in two different ways depending on this. The first type of salesman will understand just how lowly his position is, and will become discouraged by it. And through this discouragement, it will reduce his efforts to try and make sales and work hard. The second type of salesman is the one who will just embrace this negative stigma and accept it as a part of the job. And he will try to fully live up to this stereotype and be as sneaky as possible, because hey, that's what's expected of me, so why not? I don't think this is a good thing. And my solution to addressing this problem is simple. We need to just remove commissions as the primary source of pay for sellers. Without sellers being primarily motivated by commissions, their main focus is no longer going to be, I have to make the sale. Instead, they can focus just on doing their job as normal and making a sale without being under such pressure. Now, that's not to say that we need to completely do away with incentivizing good sellers. However, these performance bonuses for sales should come in the form of promotions, pay raises, bonuses, or some kind of prizes. not in the form of direct commissions. There needs to be a degree of separation between what exactly the seller is pushing and how soon they get paid from it. This degree of separation, in my view, is key in order to prevent them from becoming too attached to just trying to make that sale. Now, let's see. With the stakes lowered for the sellers, they won't feel nearly as pressured in order that they have to make this sale in order to survive. As long as they're making their minimum salary, they'll at least be able to focus on the job without getting too shady about it. And you can still maintain some other type of system to keep it working. I think that this strikes the best balance between the two and addresses the trust issue. Now, this in the turn will lead to better trust between the customers and the sellers. Now, it'll take time before this completely sinks in with all the customers that, yes, these sellers aren't directly paid just to sell me a product. And it may be a bit costly at first, but in the end, it'll pay off. Because the biggest influence between a customer actually purchasing a product from most salesmen is the level of trust. And as long as that seller can build up that level of trust with the customer, it's quite easy to make the sale between them without really much work. Now, if we're coming into this with the customers already distrusting the seller, it already makes making the sale difficult. But if we were to change the environment to where by default the customer already trusts who's selling them the product, it will be far easier to sell whatever we need to sell. And I think that this will be great for the future of business.